Hello and welcome back to Live with Sujay. We have been celebrating Black leaders on the East End, and we have a series celebrating Black women leaders, and I am so excited to have you with us here today. Thank you for sharing this time. Excited, ignited, and delighted to have two friends and guests with us. To my left is Bonnie Cannon, the Executive Director of the Bridgehampton Child Care and Rec Center, and Judy Jenkins, photographer, entrepreneur, artist. Thank you for coming. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
So you were the first one I met when I came out to the East End. In fact, my children, who are now 30 and 28, attended the Bridgehampton Child Care and Rec Center. So congratulations. It's a new beginning, a new expansion. Tell us what just happened.
Well, we have just moved into our brand new 7,000 square foot new building.
Okay, and we have some pictures of that, Zach. Let's the pictures of them cutting the ribbon. Tell us about 7,000 feet.
7,000 square feet.
So that's you accepting when the governor came?
Yes. And Governor Hochul came out to actually
There you are.
come out to do our ribbon cutting. She was there when we actually knocked down the building.
Oh my goodness.
And so she said she was coming back when the building was up, and
these are some of the beautiful children who attend there.
Yes. There's some of our counselors and teachers. And
this is what you hosted that evening, Nicole.
Yes, we have a Thinking for a Lecture series and called Equality in the Hamptons, and Nicole Hannah-Jones actually came to speak for us.
And there you are at the Cultural Creatives?
Yes, the Cultural Creatives. And we were there selling some of the Frank Wimberly's pieces there. We had them as art on sale, and so we've been quite busy.
You've been very busy this summer. I think I've been to about 5 events, so I'm moving out of town to keep up with you. And Judy, that's where I saw you also at the Creatives, and you have some photos that you've taken.
Yes.
Let's see those beautiful, beautiful photos from Judy Jenkins. Tell us what this is.
So this is one morning walking down the beach in East Hampton Ocean there, and just looking at the wonderful water, the breeze, and seeing the frozen ice on those.
That's a gorgeous picture.
So I knew I wanted to get that.
Yeah, and what's the next picture that we have? Oh, nice. My goodness.
So this is several years ago when we had a wonderful snowfall, and just looking down that driveway was magical, so I had to take that picture.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both for coming. So you're a resident of Sag Harbor Hills?
Yes, I am.
And so tell me what it's like living here year-round and being a resident. How many years have you been here?
I have been out here 59 years.
Wow.
So it's been a magical environment, again, growing up here when we had dirt roads and we didn't have street lights, and it was just a wonderful place. Summertime.
Yes.
And then we went back to our homes where we had in Westchester County.
Yes.
So this was just a summertime place. Now there's so many of us who are living year round.
Awesome.
And we are finding great things to keep us busy throughout the year.
So we just had the SANS presidents on, the heads of the different communities, and some of them are 3 generations. So how many generations for your family?
I would say at least actually 4 generations now.
Oh my
so my
goodness.
grandmother, or my parents, myself, and my daughter.
Wow.
So my brother also has children. So 4 generations for us as well.
Wonderful. Bonnie, running a center, do you get downtime? Do you take downtime? Because you have beautiful children and you have now 7,000 square feet to manage. What do you do when you're not at the center?
Well, I have to think about that.
Yeah.
What do I do when I'm not at the center? I pretty much attend church, and I play for the church. I like to swim, so I like to do aerobics, water aerobics, and swimming and that sort of thing, and listening to music. I love music.
Awesome. I'm a swimmer too.
Yeah,
I
love music. I love music.
So tell us a little history about the Bridgehampton Child Care Center.
Well, the Bridgehampton Child Care Center came about many years ago when there was a tragic fire that happened in a residence. And while the parents were away, the children actually were consumed in the fire. And through that tragedy, the entire Bridgehampton community came together.
They were working parents, correct?
They were working parents, migrant working parents. And after that, the community came together and they created, there was a doctor that donated 6 acres of property. There was a house and a barn there, and they wanted that to be a safe place for the migrant children and families from that day forward.
And now
And
it's
then
emerged into how many children do you have?
Oh, wow. We have anywhere between all year round between 200 to 300 kids that are coming through and families. And we've emerged in just not a childcare center, but we are a full service community center
Yeah.
that pretty much has services for infants all the way up to seniors.
Yeah, and I thank you for that. Well, speaking of community and safe spaces, that's what Sag Harbor has been for us. We say that we're the village of Sag Harbor, the town of East Hampton, but we're a community. Talk to us about a highlight of living here. You talked about growing up, but now as an adult, what's a highlight for you?
One of the things is to be able to have the community where we socialize together. We have these wonderful events, art shows, as example. We also cook together in the
Yes.
evenings. We get together, we go down to the beach together. And unfortunately, we do have loss of life of families who've
Yes.
passed on. So we all gather together. So we really are a strong community. We look after each other. And it's so important to do that as our families are now getting older.
Yes, from the cradle all the way to
Yes.
transitioning. And it's just wonderful to see us come together. But we also came together to celebrate, and we make sure some of us make sure with your fundraisers, et cetera, that we surround you because you're embracing a community. So it's important for us to embrace you. As your rest, I know, was very supportive last year. What would you want to say to the villagers of this historic Black Beach community? What would you want to say to us?
Well, first of all, of course, I'm going to say thank you. You know, thank you so much for the continued support of the center, because without you all, that a lot of things that we do would not be possible. And pretty much I would say just get to know us more. You know, as we have a saying that just don't drive by, stop by. And so now, you know, a lot of the folks that are from the Azarest community and others are now actually not just, you know, donating with from finances, but also donating their times. We have
Yes.
individuals that come and help out with our food pantry, and individuals that come and help out with, you know, some of our children.
Advisory boards
And
as well.
advisory boards, yes, we have some folks that have joined our advisory boards and now are working with some of our teens that are going off to college.
Yes.
So, you know, we just say get involved. We welcome you in any form to come and support us.
So the children grow up, and now Sag Harbor Hills hosts the next generation each year. So are you hopeful about the continuity of our generations and our community? Are you hopeful?
I'm extremely hopeful. My niece is part of that group, as well as a few of my other little cousins who are in their 30s, and they're very excited to be part of the leadership there. My daughter is only 21, but she's going to follow in their footsteps as well,
Yes.
which is important. So they're all doing the next step, which is what we need to continue on.
And my sons also, they're in 28 and 31 now, but they want to come back, and they're bringing their significant others in their
Yes.
lives, which is so nice. So I feel very confident. So we talked about wealth. You deal with children many times whose families are not, and they're seeking to be able to grow and be empowered. What kinds of classes, economically, financial literacy, do you do for the children and families?
Well, we just recently have partnered with an organization called Choice for All.
Okay.
It's another not-for-profit, and they're actually going to be on our site to deal with individuals and families to help each person, because each person's journey is different. And so to counsel each one as far as credit repair, things that they need to do for whatever their journey is, if they're looking to buy a home, if
Yeah.
they're looking to, you know, maybe go to school or whatever like that. So we have individual counseling that is taking place at the center. We
That's
do
awesome.
also have a financial literacy program for our young people, because
Yes.
we want them to start young. So we have a piggy bank program where we partner with several of the local banks.
Yeah.
And they come in and they talk to our youth regarding, you know, budgeting, saving money, the importance
Yeah.
of saving money.
I remember my first memory, before my parents, of course, teaching me, was Dime Savings Bank came to our classroom, and we used to give a dime, and by the time we finished 6th grade, school went to 6th grade back then, you had a significant little money in your bank book.
Yes.
So that's so important. And there's a woman, Sabrina Lamb, you may want to connect with also, who
Okay.
starts with children investing. So the other extreme is we want to make sure that wealth is preserved. People are investing in home ownership in terms of that. So what in terms of the next generation? I know in my community, many are of the parents are deeding their homes to their children so that it'll be kind of secure. Do you find that happening much? Because you're also in the financial realm. So talk to us about that.
Deeds are very important to make sure that you have everything in order because we never know. I've had so many families that I've worked with in the past with real estate that if you don't have it in order, you don't want it to go into probate. So that's a very dangerous thing because what happens, it could be tied up for a long period of time.
Yes.
And by the time it's all figured out, the family money, the house, everything could have been dismantled to what it was initially. So it's important to do a trust, what I recommend. Most people think of wills. I think trusts are even more important because it supersedes probate. So it gives the family a lot of safety. It gives them comfort knowing that the families, while they're alive and well, they're able to execute the things that they desire for the next generation.
That's,
so that's
important
what I
to
recommend.
know. So define trust for us. I hear the term, I see what it can do. Define what a trust is.
A trust is a written document, and what it just is putting everything into a trust, which is a document that actually holds all of the assets. And what it does, the person who is in charge, whether it be the person who is still alive, is still in charge of their own trust. But what you do is the person actually sets up who they like to be as their trustee when they're no longer there.
Okay.
Or when the situation comes when they're not able to handle situation. So that is the beautiful thing because you never know when it's going to be, and it's an ongoing thing. So we always recommend every year go back and see what has changed, what needs to be adjusted, and you just constantly put all of your important things into that document so everything is already protected. As you know, so many celebrities you
lose
would
it
think
all.
with all of the money, with all of the connections, no one sat them down to work out what is the best thing. So this is so important.
I remember reading Isaac Hayes when I was a kid and was a multimillionaire and lost it all because the investments weren't right or nobody managed him or taught him how to manage it. So yeah, the celebrities as well. I love the intergenerationality of our village, but also I see you and your mother just as a team. I mean, you've really built that center up. Talk to us about the generations that are, active at Bridgehampton Child Care.
Well, the one thing is that we felt that to instill into our young people is just not the straight education, but it's also the wisdom. And so we feel that the intergenerational to have, our seniors there. My mom is 83. We had a teacher that was retired that's in her 90s. Pretty much the seniors run the food pantry. Our maintenance person is in his 80s.
So they're around
but
each
they're
generation.
around the children and they're dry. And so the kids look up to the seniors, and the seniors feel good because it's something for them to do and also for them to impart wisdom lessons that you don't get in school to our kids. And
Do
so
any
it's
of the
very
children
important.
come back? Like we have next gen and they're coming back as a third or fourth generation. Do any of the children who complete your center come back and give back?
Yes, they do. They come back and a lot of times they'll come in the office and they'll say, Miss Bonnie, and I don't even recognize them because they've grown up. But they'll come back and they'll impart and they'll help. And right, like one for instance is Coach Johnson. Coach Johnson grew up at the center and now he's coming out and he's doing activities with our children. He's going to be our athletic director because we do have a project for an indoor pool and a gym that we're working on as well. And so he's going to be our athletic director. And so he's giving back,
Awesome.
And there's several others that have given back to Mara Clay and Jeff Clay. They all come back, and it's good to see when they come back and they've grown and and some of the things that we've taught them or that they've learned is still, that's that
They're
foundation.
putting it into practice now.
It's that foundation still there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are you most hopeful for?
I think at this stage of my life is that the community gets together and we really help each other at the stage where so many people, as I said, are getting older.
Yes.
But then you also have the new generations. So keeping the legacy that we had growing up.
Yes.
Learning how to swim at the beach was so wonderful.
Yes.
Also boating and fishing. Going down to the beach with your rake to pull up the clams and going into the creek to get the mussels.
Yes.
Those are things that I grew up doing. And then having the gatherings with the friends in the summertime.
Yes.
All the girls got together, all the boys, and we would go to movies, we did the drive-in. So being able to continue that legacy of family and generational wealth
Yes.
at the same time,
Yes.
because that is where we have to help each other, because many other communities are doing it, but we have to band together.
So we don't have to start from scratch every generation. So we have the
Right.
continuity of
Correct.
it. Exactly.
And sharing our knowledge.
Yeah. What do you hope your legacy will be?
Similar. It's similar. Basically, I want us to pretty much to come together as a community. I see that legacy, and I want us to pretty much to be in control of our legacy, to understand that we don't have to wait for things, that we're rich. We're a rich people, a rich community, and we can do things ourselves. We can start things ourselves. We can teach we can teach our history.
Yes.
For example, there's things that are going on in the school system now where our history is being pushed to the side, but that doesn't deter us from teaching our own history.
And how do you preserve your history for the center? Because you have now, how many years is it?
It's been 70 plus years. 70 plus years. 70 plus
So do you
years.
archive it? Do you thinking of a museum? How do you keep the history?
Right now, they have the digital archives.
Okay.
To do a digital archive type of a library. We have things from the past that we have in storage, but we want to take that and put it into some type of digital archive.
Lovely.
So that it's there and it's there forever for us. And then also by oratorical speaking to those individuals that are still alive, inscribing down, the things that we need to know from the past.
Yeah.
All of that is important. But my biggest thing is just to learn that we are rich people. We can do things our own selves. If we come together, there's no telling what we can create. So in a legacy, that's what I would like to see. In my legacy is that we're stepping up and doing things ourselves and creating things ourselves.
Where can people find your photos when they're not here? They're beautiful. Do you have them digitally, or where can they see you in an art show? Talk to us about your art.
Well, thank you so much. I am actually in the process of the website. So the
Yes.
website is up and running. However, I have so much to do. So many people ask me, what is my Instagram? And I feel a little outdated.
That's all right. We're boomers.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So that is something that is very important that I'm working on, so people could see and see my design work. So it's all the collaboration of many people helping me out
Sure.
to get all of that up and running.
It takes a village not
It
only to
really
raise
does.
a child, but to build a website. I'll tell you that. I'm a boomer, a proud boomer, but it takes a lot. I have
Right.
these millennials and next Gen Zers, and I'm like, help me. Help me. What I don't know, I can email you. I can email you and call you and text you, but help me build the website. So that's good.
So it's
Do you have a
called
name? What's
it's
your
called the
website?
House of Clark and Jenkins. So my photography, my art, my fashion, all of it is on that one website.
Say it one more time slowly.
The House of Clark and Jenkins.
Now, does Clark have an E or no?
With an E,
Okay.
correct. And that gives tribute to my grandmother because she was a professional seamstress for many years. And that's where I got my love of food as
Okay.
well, and my mother. So I wanted to give tribute to both of those ladies.
.org or .com?
It's a .com.
Okay. And where can people find out information about the Bridgehampton Child Care and Recreation Center? Let me say
Yes.
the whole term.
Yeah, we have our website is www.bhccrc.org, which stands for Bridgehampton Child Care Rec Center.
Okay, say that one more time slowly, because that's a lot of letters. Okay.
BHCC,
Which stands for Bridgehampton Child Care
Care,
Center.
and then Rec Center, RC.
Okay.
.org.
Okay.
And we have an Instagram page. We have our Facebook page. If you just look up the Bridgehampton Center or Bridgehampton Child Care Center, you'll find us there. And just to piggyback off of when we talk about coming together,
Yes.
at the center, we have a program called Teach Me How to Fish,
Yes.
which is a workforce development program.
Yes.
And it's centered on IT. So we have many interns that are looking for opportunities to work with individuals to help them build their websites and things of that sort.
Awesome.
So, we're doing a lot of things that are going to be sustainable, to help
Yes.
people to be sustainable and to help them to be able to get the necessities and more, to get above that poverty level.
Yeah,
so
we're
that's
gonna
what
be
we're doing.
calling on you because I know I need help.
We got some interns that can help you out.
Definitely. So talk to us about this workforce development. I mean, you're advancing a force of workers
Yes.
so that we'll have people who can do more than just press that little picture on the McDonald's machine.
Yes.
And be able to, so talk to us about things like AI or cybersecurity. Are you introducing these fields?
We're introducing because as you know, STEM, or they call it STEAM, science, technology, engineering, math, is all where the future is going.
Yeah,
That is where the future is going. AI is where the future is going.
we're here.
And so basically, what we're trying to get individuals to see is that those individuals that the Teach Me How to Fish program is for those 18 through 45. Those have went on to college and came back, and now they're just in a rut working a 9-to-5 job. Those that have not gone to college, those individuals looking for something to get them above. And so we're focused on several different industries, but mainly the IT industry, the trades industry, which is also clean energy, offshore wind, and then you
And
have
also, we need some air traffic controllers and truck drivers. They're starting at
CDL.
6+ figures.
Yes.
What's CDL stand for?
CDL, they need to get their CDL license.
That's right.
For the truck driving.
Certification.
To get the certification. So we're getting people being more strategic as to where we're leading individuals to go, because we want to get them above poverty. A family of 4, just on Long Island, poverty level is $50,000. And so how many people do we know that are making that and less? And even out here, I'm pretty sure that poverty level is even, is even higher.
So
we
are there
have to-
two worlds? Is there the Sag Harbor Hills, Azurest, Nineveh, and then there's another community? Are there two worlds here, or is there a way for us to come together?
Well, that's what I would love. I would love for us to come together, because there's so much talent and opportunity that's in one world, and there's another world that basically we're trying to put the two together. Right now, we have individuals that have gone through the IT training. They are certified, they are qualified, and there are individuals that are in the Azurest community that work for corporations or are CEOs of corporations.
So
And
let me ask Judy then, because many come out here because it is their summer break, our summer break, let me say our. So do people want to work during the summer, or do they want the beach and kind of just like, let's leave us alone for a
It's
minute?
interesting that you mentioned that, because a lot of people, due to their work environment, don't have a free summer.
Right.
So while they're out here, they're still on the clock for a few hours, and then they'll break away and come down to the beach.
Yes.
And many times they'll have to go back and still clock back in.
Yeah, I had to do that for a while.
It's a cycle there.
It is, and you want to be able to breathe and have some self-care, and enjoy these homes that we're paying for. So it's kind of a balance, though.
Yeah.
And I think the way that we support is through the fundraisers. I think we show up like in big numbers, huge numbers. So I think we find the balance there, and and encouragement. The board of advisors as well is another place that we can help.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Definitely.
definitely.
So I hope we have a finance show, because I think things like trusts and wills and what we do to make sure that there is intergenerational wealth is very important. What's a fact you think people don't know beyond trust? What's something that seems small but is an important thing to have to keep wealth maintained?
Well, two biggest causes of losing your money, your wealth, is sickness. Okay. So when a person gets sick, all of a sudden they're in the hospital, and those bills could be enormous, and it wipes out everything.
Yes.
And then the second thing is death. So death, if you haven't prepared for death, what happens is a woman becomes a widow, and 90% of widows in the past have had to claim foreclosure, lose their homes. So those are the two biggest challenges that families
because someone took
have.
care of it for them, and so they don't know how to.
Well,
Usually?
in husband and wife situations, the death is not planned in many cases,
Right.
because in the Black community, you have heart attack, stroke, cancer. Those are the three leading sicknesses that kill people.
Yes.
So if you're not planning on a Monday to have a heart attack, how does the spouse know to prepare if you're not planning to have that heart attack?
So things like long-term insurance, and certainly health insurance, but long-term insurance and things like that, important to start as soon as you can?
So one of the most important factors is just having everything in order. So when we what one of the exciting things that Miss Bonnie was talking about is start young. In
Yes.
other countries, in India, in Asia, the children are already learning to save their money.
Yes.
And they put their money and they don't have any debt.
Right.
So Americans are completely opposite. There's so much debt here.
Yes.
Before they even go off to college, they're creating debt on the credit cards.
Yes.
So this is a huge factor that we could educate so families are ahead of the curve before something happens. So just having the proper planning,
Yeah.
putting money aside every year, every time you get paid, you're putting money aside.
That's right.
You're planning for these disasters before they strike.
Yeah.
So everything, when something does happen. And the other factor is we're living longer
That's right.
than is projected. So Social Security and retirement plans are of no longer. So people back in the day had a pension plan.
Yes.
Who is receiving pension plans now?
Yeah,
So Social
very
Security
limited.
is not enough to sustain you. That was only one of the legs to
Yes,
help you. So
exactly.
this is where it's important to put your money so it's working for you and not you're working hard for your money and then it's not doing well for you.
I love it. Well, you're working for us. We are so delighted to have both of you, Judy Jenkins, Bonnie Cannon. We just wish you well in all your pursuits and endeavors. I hope you'll come back again and teach us more about finance, and I hope you put some of that into practice with your young people so that we'll just have affluence and wealth and just sustainable and intergenerational. But you've been watching Live with Sujay, and it's been so important to us to have you with us. Thank you for sharing these moments. See you next time on Live with Sujay.